Carter's a case where I was actually treating something other than his spine. A lot of people think chiropractors just treat spinal complaints like neck pain and back pain. But I found this was a good opportunity to educate people and teach them how chiropractors aren't just spinal experts. We also can treat shoulders, hips, knees, ankles, pretty much any muscle, joint, nerve, tendon or ligament in the body. And Carter actually had suffered from a shoulder dislocation in a competition. Carter's a CrossFit athlete and competitive weightlifter. So we thought this was a good opportunity to educate people and talk about Carter's story. So Carter, why don't you tell us what happened?
So basically I was competing in a weightlifting competition and was doing my opening snatch actually, and I just caught the snatch a little far back. Snatch is kind of an all-in-one movement right from the ground overhead. And the arm bar caught it a little farther back than I'd like, and I thought I could correct it, and it kind of just pulled my arm back. And that's when it dislocated, and I've never dislocated my shoulder, but that feeling, that like instant feeling, I was like, yep, something's wrong. And
can be scary, yeah.
Yeah, and I was rushed, I guess, ambulance to the hospital and got it set, and I was pretty slumped out after that because I was potentially going to the Commonwealth Games that fall in Fiji for weightlifting, and then my trajectory of that kind of got thrown down the toilet when I dislocated my shoulder. And then I just was like, oh, who do I know that could potentially help me with this injury? And known Rob from working out at the gym at 306, so I was like, hey, I'll give Rob a text, and the rest is history, I guess.
That's kind of the nature of always like trying to excel in your sport, right? Sometimes people will have injuries. It's kind of sometimes the price you pay to play. Not everyone's like going to get injured, or nobody's doomed to always have an injury, but when you're really trying to like hit like competition max numbers, that's sometimes the risk you run. Sometimes it's just a little setback where you just tweak a little something. Sometimes it's a full-blown shoulder dislocation, right? So I was actually super excited to work with you, just because a lot of people do go see chiropractors for spinal complaints, so getting something outside of the spine is kind of refreshing sometimes. The coolest thing is when I look back on your case is, I think you came to see me the Monday after you hurt yourself on the Saturday. So 2 days post-injury, so still very much acute, in a lot of pain, heightened sense of your shoulder and the ability that you have lost function and couldn't move it, right? There were a lot of things that you were struggling with at the time, but it was kind of interesting to see like how we start things off and how things evolved over time. Like first it was just like, okay, how do we calm this down? How do I educate you very well on pain and what this is meaning at the time? And then how do we, as things improve, how do we like change our plan to get you back to functioning and get you back to doing the things you love to do? So I think initially the biggest thing was establishing like, okay, how are we going to define success? Like what's going to be a successful outcome for you? And I think that was just getting back to weightlifting, right? I remember you mentioning there was a competition that you were really excited for. I don't know if that was the Commonwealth Games.
I think I kind of was, in that moment was maybe, but more so in the June, going to junior nationals.
Right.
Was a big goal to get back.
And you hurt yourself in February.
Yep.
And then I saw you from February to April.
Yep.
And I thought it was kind of cool because when I look back on the notes, I think I only saw you, including your assessment, I think I saw you 5 times in that 2 months. When we initially saw you, our treatment plan is initially focused on getting you out of pain, calming down your symptoms a little bit. But then once everything was under control, it was more about building you back up because all of your goals were load dependent. You wanted to weightlift, you wanted to do CrossFit, you wanted to be able to put your shoulder through a lot of stress, and you wanted to be able to meet that stress. I think from the get-go, what we had to establish was like a goal, right? Like what is gonna be a successful outcome with your rehab? So what did we decide on that?
Well, first of all, I think it was really good coming to Rob. Rob didn't look at me and say, hey, you're never gonna do this again. That was a big thing for me. Like mentally, I felt like I was like up in the air. I was like, I'm never gonna weightlift again. Like my life is, like I got a bum shoulder, like I'm done. Like that's it. Like most people, kind of play that card, but it was really good coming to Rob. He kind of pulled me back down to earth and just said, hey, you're gonna be, you're gonna be okay. Like, you got to do these baby step movements, and like, it's gonna suck, but you gotta be willing to want to be better and get better for yourself, right? Like, you gotta take it into your own hands. And I think I was like, with my physical or my athletic background, I think it really helped that, I came to you for the guidance of, I know Rob knows his stuff, so I'm like, okay, what do I got to do, and make sure that, check those boxes of what I got to do to improve my shoulder. And then I'm like, I do it on your own time and touch base every week. And like, yeah, you got to take a lot of it into your own hands to want to get better and get your shoulder better. But yeah, no, I thought it was, yeah.
Yeah, and that's where like, I essentially just want to guide you, right? I know that you have to take a lot of this on. So by essentially educating you and not catastrophizing your pain, helping you understand your pain and take the necessary steps to get out of that pain, I think that was the biggest thing in like removing some of those barriers where like you thought, I'm never going to weightlift again, right? You can't jump right back and do the things you wanted to do right away. But we can
baby step it.
Look at what we can look at what you want to do and then gradually build you back to that over time, right? Yeah. You start to challenge it bit by bit, and then you build tissue resilience until you're right back to where you want to be, which is what you did.
So yeah, I didn't really know what the trajectory of my weightlifting was going to be that year, coming from dislocating my shoulder that February. But I mean, by June already, I was, 4 months? I was already snatching 100 kilograms, it's 220 pounds, clean and jerking 138 kilograms. I mean, I was pretty much right back at my 95% of what I was prior to dislocating my shoulder, which I was super pumped about. I mean, still a little gun shy, like little mental stuff. I mean, when you dislocate your shoulder snatching, you're still gonna be a little gun shy on that movement. But I mean, from February to June, 9-day difference of like mental game, even physical. I mean, going from not even being able to lift my shoulder overhead, right? Like having to use a PVC pipe for that, that first two sessions with you, to being able to snatch. I mean, it was, if you would have told me that I was going to be snatching 100 kilograms 4 months after dislocating my shoulder that day, I would never believed you.
Right? It's cool, right?
Yeah, it's very cool.
And I get that like the PVC pipe stuff was very frustrating at the time.
Absolutely. Like, super humbling of like, what you were doing yesterday, and now the next day I'm, I can't even lift my body weight in my arm. It's just a super humbling, like, you got to take a step back and baby step it all the way back up. It was super humbling.
And I think I remember a lot of our initial conversations where I was also talking to you about my own injuries, right?
Yep.
How I've hurt my back many times throughout my life because I like to be active and I like to push myself. Sometimes that comes with the territory.
Yep.
And I remember telling you about kind of that fear lives in the back of your mind, right? Like, this is how I hurt my back. Am I going to do it again doing the same thing? But it's not the movement particularly that's bad for you. It's just whether or not you're prepared for that movement or not, right?
Absolutely.
So like a snatch isn't bad for you. A clean and jerk isn't bad for you. Squatting heavy, deadlifting heavy, not bad things for you. But it's your preparedness to handle that load that will dictate whether you can do it or whether you might risk an injury, right?
Yep. And also for like your mental, it's about who you surround yourself with, like people like yourself telling me all these good things. Like, you talk to a couple people and you talk about their injuries, and they're like, oh, I've never been the same since that injury. It's like, well, maybe you weren't doing the right steps to fix that injury, right? Like, you got to take your own time. Like, I can't come to Rob and be like, fix all my problems, right? Like, you got to go home and do all the work still and do all the little stuff. And it's going to suck. Like, nobody wants to sit there and do, PVC pipe movements and hanging from a bar for 30-second intervals. Like, but you got to do those little things to progress yourself back to where you were.
Exposure.
Absolutely. And I think like the mental game of like me, like when I was pretty vulnerable in February, like, oh my God, my shoulder's done, right? Like surrounding myself with people like Rob and common other athletes that have had injuries and said, you're going to be okay, but you're going to have to do these baby steps to get back where you were.
Yeah.
Let alone then there's people that, complain about hurting themselves and they've never been the same. Well, it's because they've never took the the right steps of
Yeah.
fixing their injuries.
And that's a big part of recovery as well, right?
Yep.
Like that social support system,
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
community.
Yep.
Those are huge things that help you stay positive,
Yep.
stay in the right mindset, and continue to like push yourself, right? And then I think you competed in October that year too, right?
Yep. So June I competed junior nationals, and then I guess 4 months later or whatever, in October there, I did pretty much my last meet as a junior, as the deadline was that following December, or that December for the cutoff of the age. But yeah, it was probably one of my best meets. I had 3 very good snatches, 95, 100, 105, and I snatched 105 kilograms. It's the weight that I dislocated my shoulder at.
That's a very cool
Which
thing.
was a big win for me, mentally, physically. Like, you know, I like giving the FU to the weight that dislocated my shoulder.
Yeah.
And then I also had a huge clean and jerk session that day. I opened at 137, I think, jumped to 142 kilograms. And then the gentleman that was running my numbers that day, he's like, "You're looking great. Should we go for 148?" Which would set my, break the record for the total set by a guy, I think it was like 15 so years ago. But anyways, my last clean jerk was 148 kilograms, which was a huge clean jerk. And yeah.
Significant weight.
Yeah.
It's like what, 325?
Yeah, 325, 8 months, 8 months post dislocation. I mean,
Deadly.
can't complain about that.
One of the reasons why I think working with you was so successful is because we did individualize the care to you. It's not that like any 2 shoulder dislocations are necessarily the exact same. Some may be much more complicated, some might be more simple. You really, when you're working with someone who's injured themselves, you have to look at like them as a person, right? Like what are their goals? What are they looking to do?
Yep.
What do they want their shoulder to be able to do? And then you have to individualize the care towards them with specific like goals in mind to help things recover and be successful, right?
Yep.
But yeah, it's I think that's one of the main reasons why we were so successful is because we initially, right off the bat, decided what we wanted, what we
Yep.
were aiming to do.
Yep.
You helped a lot because you bought in
Yep.
very quickly because you were very motivated, right? You
Yep.
wanted to get back to weightlifting. You wanted to be able to do your CrossFit stuff. So obviously, commend you for doing all the work.
Yep.
I was your guide, but eventually, it all came down to you doing what I told you to do, right?
Yep.
So it's awesome. Your
Yep.
recovery is pretty much on you.
Yep.
I think I was just a good initial help to educate and help
Yep.
you understand things and what you had to do going forward.
As soon as I came in, it felt awesome. Like I had no idea even post dislocation where to go. And I think I reached out to you by text. I was like, "Hey, Rob."
Yeah.
And you know what? You got me in that following Monday, 2 days later. We sat me down. You've handwritten out all the stuff for me. It wasn't like, here's my standard dislocation chart.
Yeah.
Come back next week. It felt very personalized. I mean, you were texting me throughout the week. How's the workouts going? Like, are you progressing?
Yeah.
Which was really awesome. I thought that you actually cared about my injury getting better, which was really cool. So I was like, really bought into that aspect of it. It was not like, oh, I'm just coming here and wasting my money, right? Like I was like, Rob does care about his client and getting their progression.
Awesome.
Yeah. Even speaking on my behalf of my experience here with Rob, I mean, like I would recommend a person 1,000 times over again to come see Rob with any injuries, even like shoulder, knee, anything. I think people really think that like being a chiropractor, they can't branch off into these, you know, muscle injuries, dislocations, but had nothing but great things with working with Rob, and it's been really awesome.
Sweet, man. Like, what's next for you? What are you doing mostly these days now?
I've been doing a lot of CrossFit lately, just kind of taking care of my body, listening to it. Weightlifting's pretty heavy to maintain at a high percentage throughout the year, so kind of weaned off that a bit. Just CrossFitting, hopefully doing some weightlifting here in the new year, and
Awesome.
hitting some new numbers. It'd be good.
New goals, new year.
Keep taking care of my shoulder and just listening to my body and
Yeah.
keep moving. Functional fitness.
Awesome. So, yeah, man, thanks.
Yes, thanks for working with me.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. It was a lot of fun, man.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hopefully not too soon again.
Yeah.